All right, what's good, everybody? Welcome again to another edition, another stream of Chaos Reign. Like thank everybody for joining in, listening to today's broadcast. Hold on, and I'd like to give a shout out to my moderators and to the people that will go back to the playback of this particular stream and many more. And one other thing I would like to ask the people that's watching now or is going to watch is, are y'all getting the notifications when I go live? That's one question I like to ask as I look back in the chat room. And I'm probably going to look through the other outlet because most likely 9/10 of the time, they're not sending the notifications when I'm going live. So usually I have to go manually to send out notifications for now. I mean, there are other means to get this more accomplished, but you have to go old school, if you get what I mean. So let me do this now while people are coming in. And normally I will try to play some music, but still trying to figure that out, how to get away with that, because I might start doing regular mix-ups of music on here. I haven't done it yet, but I will do it in the near future very soon, so be on the lookout for that. Other things to let people know, since I am here. Hold on a second. To let everybody know, wait, hold on. Oh, let me handle this. I'll be right back. Give me a second, people. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that. I had to handle something. Okay, as you know, the title for tonight's broadcast is titled, as I read, "Can the white woman give consequence to black women for messing with the white man?" And what I mean by messing, it can mean in many forms. What I mean by messing around, it could be in the forms of having relationships with Chad, Brad, or John, or you know, go as far as sleeping with him, one night stand, or having like a regular casual relationship, like a date. Even go as far as he'll take him, or Chad or Brad will take this black woman or female as one of his own mates. At the end of the day, we always hear about the European man giving consequences to the so-called black man for every little thing. Now he's in his right privilege to really do that because, like anything, a system that's created for the person that runs things can conflict reward and punishment. So the question should be asked: can the white woman do the same to her opposite to her male counterpart? But before we go into this, let us look at the definition of consequences because we always hear and we think what the word means, but let's look at what it really actually means definition wise. So let me pull it up. We're probably gonna start with Wikipedia. But first, let me just check Wikipedia first before I share my screen because they're doing their so-called donations. Okay, don't look like it's there. So let me pull it up. Hold on, what's this? All right, let me type it up. Consequences. Consequences. Okay. Consequences. Okay. Let me see if this is the right one. Hmm. It's not really showing here. It's showing some TV show of the word consequence. So I'm just going to type the word and try to see what pops up. Yeah. Wikipedia is just giving all these shows in the word of consequences. So let me go back. I can't use that. Yeah, I know it's kind of weird. People with when you go by definitions, you have to be very specific. Let me check. Okay, this should work now. I'm gonna go back. Let me see if this will work now. And many definitions of the word consequences. And I'm gonna open up another window. See if this will give me a better result. And for some reason, it's showing me a video. Oh, okay. There we go. All right. So now I'm gonna share my screen now. So let's see how to do this again. Okay, I found it. I'm trying to find it because it's supposed to pull up. Home tab, consequences. Okay. As y'all see my screen, This is what's showing. Consequences. In it, please.
Consequence.
The result effects of action or condition. Many have been laid off from work, consequence of administrative policy. That's one little long term. And the consequence definition of dictionary. Importance of relevance, social distractions. And here's again consequences. The effects and results or outcomes of something occurring earlier. Accidental was the consequence of reckless driving. That's one terminology they'll say. An active instance of following something as an effect, resulting, or outcome. The conclusion reached by lines of reasoning, inference, importance or significance, a matter of consequences or a matter of no consequences, importance in ranks or position, distinction, a man of great consequence in art. This is just a general definition of consequences. Now, Wikipedia. Consequences from the Encyclopedia, also known as consequence relations or entitlements, an operative condition, a result of some behavior, consequentialism, a theory of philosophy of which the mortality of an act is determined by its effects, unintended consequences, and a logic of consequent is the second half of a hypothetical position or unconsequential consequence music, and it goes all off a little bit. So that's the definition. And one more other thing, the consequences with the S in it. This is redirected from a plural noun and singular form, either R and plural, R to singular, may be used in a tag plural redirecting. The redirector and link of use of convenience is often preferable to add a plural director, and this is dealing with some type of other, it doesn't deal with the definition of it. So I'll stop it here. Oh, how you doing, Naima Butler? Wait. What's that, Naima? Oh, let me read it. I just know she posted something in the chat room. Oh, this thing had a commercial. Damn it, I didn't know that. Oh well, don't worry about that because this thing blocked out the thing. Hey Chaos, hey everybody. White woman knows they will get their behinds beat. They dare not mess with us. Naima, have you read the description or the title of today's show? That's my question, sis. Have you? I know you're a moderator. Oh, and I forgot to put out the links. My fault. Shit. As I wait for your response, and I hope the mods will share this. And that is not the title of "They're Gonna Get Their Ass Whipped," Naima. You must read the title and description of this stream, please. I'm not down with the goofy shit tonight. Not tonight. And you can also follow me on Twitter. All right, there's those links. Now, okay, so you read the link, and I'm not sure when last time you came up here. And let me put the StreamYard link right now for any woman to come here. Come on, this. Let me do this now. Okay, where is it? Okay. for people to come up. Now, let me express this again for those who's watching. White women give consequence to black women for messing with white men. I'll repeat this again for those who came in. I'm not talking about black women beating Caucasian women ass if they are beating their ass, which last time I checked, I doubt they're doing that because I don't see it. I'm just keeping 100. But I'm talking about this Caucasoid woman will inflict some form of consequence on you for messing with her man. Either you having intercourse with her man, dating her man, kissing her man. That's what I'm trying to express. That's what I mean by consequence. Totally different from the black man that if he does the same thing to one of the European man's own woman, he inflicts what we call consequence. And he still inflicts the consequence today. What are the consequences that the European will inflict on the black man? Well, ladies, can y'all give me a good brief right now as I'm reading your chat? And anyone that want to come up, the link's there. I'm waiting. Who could give me an answer? What is the consequence the European gives to the black man messing with his woman? I'm not gonna speak anything until y'all give me an answer before I continue. That's fine, Christina. Okay. The consequence the European man gives to the black man messing with his woman, a few things happen. The black man gets lynched, right? Even back in Jim Crow, and he still gets lynched today in regards to what we call suicide. Y'all ladies know that in regards, no, just death. I mean, what type of death? Because death comes in many forms, Christina. And those many forms, like I said, there's hanging, there is beating sometimes, usually with a mob, because usually one European man can't beat one white black man by himself. He has a set of men around him to ambush and surround one black man. Y'all seen this with the police. Sometimes you don't see them come with one person. They come with a whole pack for one man. Imagine that. And sometimes you might see the same pack for their own men. But 9 times of the time, when they really want to inflict harm and damage and death to the black men, he brings a whole mob of them. You get me? A big mob for this one man. Whether the man is strong, skinny, or fat, he brings the whole crowd with him to address and handle this one particular man. That's what we talking about when he goes inflict punch and death. Yes, it all ends up bad. Also, the European also inflicts not only punishment, but he also imprisons the black man. I mean, y'all hear stories of well, it's not funny, but you hear things and you see from news to social media. Even one boy that kissed a European girl, i.e., a white girl, in the lips in a bar, which they were very illegal to be attending the bar. And hold on, let me do this. And this dude is getting, I guess, 20 years to life. I think he's getting 20 years right now for what we call it, kissing this Caucasian woman or a young woman. Same thing when you hear stories of even the stories of Emmett Till when he just whistled to a so-called European woman. Yes, this is true, Topaz. So when I talk about consequences, that's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That is actual real consequences. So it goes back to again, what consequence can the European woman give to the black woman today messing with her own man? This is something that was on my mind for some time now, but I never put it together because when you're thinking and you let your mind just wander, you always reflect on certain things, certain behaviors and actions. Even let's say the movie scenes, especially what they call those things, the pornographic industries, where they promote heavily interracialism from not only black men on non-black women, but you see them with black women with non-black men on the average. And the scenario plays out the same way. That, well, they don't really show the inflict damage or kill of a black man when he's engaged in, I guess, having his interspecies sex with the non-black woman. It actually shows a fetish when it comes to them, but it also shows the promiscuous behavior of our women towards them in these same so-called movies, either pornographic or regular movies, and even it depicts in real life. At the end of the day, you think about it that and you can show that with the European man, he sometimes will show his innocence on the average when he's intermingling with the non-white woman in front of his own woman. And when I look at it, and the only way you could really understand this, you could get a picture of this through certain old slave movies on the average. And hell, there might be some books on this. I'm not sure what books that still exist today that talks about the consequence and the relationship between the black woman and the white man. I mean, we had a good idea what was going on during slavery. We have a keen idea. Movies kind of pick more of the reality than what people read because, on the average, most people today don't really pick a book and really read about the actual history. They only get a glimpse of what is being shown cinematography. But when you read it, you get a real glimpse of understanding of what it really is. I mean, it's scary. It's very deep. It's disgusting too, if you think about it. Even when the brother that sit there intermingles with the European woman, he knows that his life could be in jeopardy if he finds out that he's sleeping with the master's wife or his own daughter. And I think one movie that had a snare of this situation was The Buck. I don't know if that's what they call it, but y'all ladies will know because they had this old slave movie that came out in the mid-70s. I think it's called The Buck though. Yeah. And in The Buck, they show the little Becky going into that barn where the other Negroes are at, looking and hunting and wanting to get her coochie power drive, in other words, by a black male. And even in the midst of the moment, as she's sitting there and picking that slave to really get down, it took another slave, particularly another black man, on the average, to try to protect this other black man, and so that he don't get killed. Because most black men back then had no idea. Said, you just set yourself for death, messing with them. So if we want to really keep it real in slavery, not every black man sit there and took the risk like that to get himself killed. The average, I'm saying some did, but when they're talking about the many, I doubt it. I'm saying because there was punishment at the time, and you gotta understand, a lot of our people were bred to be slaves. during that same time period. And you were bred to be an animal, you're gonna act and conduct yourself like an animal. Sorry to say that. That's what goes on in these slave quarters, these what they call bedbuck pens. So the Becky wanted a taste and feel of the black man's essence and strength, and she didn't really give a crap how she do it, how she get it. If she wanted, she would have gotten it. And some slaves possibly resist, and I say possibly, and some didn't. And once the master finds out, you know what happened to that slave. I don't know if I want to go in detail. Y'all know what happened to that Negro. But it goes back to what I'm trying to imply. What consequences really does the European woman can give to the black woman messing with her own man back then and even now? This is something that if anybody could answer or come up or whatever, give me a clear answer, I'm willing to listen. Because this is something that's never discussed. Have you noticed that? Never discussed at all. I mean, I sometimes question it, but I never really gone to the deep ends of it. And these discussions that's never be discussed anywhere, even on here, because these discussions should not exist. And I'm keeping it real with y'all. Even talking about a subject will not get much playback or much notice. One second. So, these are the questions that should be asked. And one other thing I will say this to go even further into this, because this is going to be lengthy. And I might revisit this question again on another show, possibly. If we think about it, if we really think about it, that really and truly, if the sisters, the black women decide to swirl even out and go more outside race today, there's not really much consequence today or anything really holding back if there was anything holding back anyway to do so in this climate. You have what we call the divestment community, both black man, black woman. They make this small little niche, this small circle, and say we're going to divest from the community. They're going to sit there, have their frills and playful fun with non-black people, smiling and grinning, and be happy as hell, like it's the best thing, then slight spread and be comfortable. But the problem is with that mindset, they always want to go back and throw shades to the community they come from, because really you can't leave the community because you are the community at the end of the day. I don't give a crap what anybody says. That you leave one nest and you go into another nest, and that goes for both man and woman. And really and truly, it's crazy. It's just sickening. Hold on, let me see something. Did somebody reach out to me? Hold on. 1 second, people. I'm just going through some things. All right. Hello? Hold on a second. 1 second, guys. All right, hello everybody. Before I continue, I have here one of my good favorite special person that will be in the fields of YouTube very soon. I'm gonna let her introduce herself. Go ahead.
Peace, everybody. I'm Osisa King. Good to be here. How you guys doing?
They're doing all right. They're doing good. You know what I'm saying, and you know, it's funny even talking about this subject. If you funny, if it's weird, Oasis King. When I came across this, I was sitting and reminiscing and thinking because I saw a particular scene, and it hit me and say, you know, as much times the European man, which I would call the white man, puts his consequence to black man mess around with his woman. When I look at the European woman, I say, what consequence does Becky have against that she could put on black women if she decides to mess with Brad? And I don't really see not really much of all from my understanding. And I'm asking most ladies that's listening right now or whoever to, you know, give me a proper answer, because when I think about this, I mean, we could talk all about what when men do to other men, but I never deal with women, especially her. And I've seen videos of slavery, you know, movies on it, and they really talk much about it, you know. So for a woman that's been around them or could think of what the possibilities or, you know, what she can or she can't do, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you want to elaborate or from your own perspective what you think on the subject alone.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting topic, but I would definitely say that you could go both. You know, you could see that from both ways. Well, one, if I was a white woman, I wouldn't do anything about it because you're increasing my bloodline, you're increasing my stock. And it's not like that white women don't have a historical precedence of wanting black men. So to be able to create a black man in her image, you know, or to add on to that, meaning a black woman contributing her DNA to the bloodline, I don't know if I would be, you know, all that upset about that as a white woman, as long as they're not black women. Any competition about that or a problem with it. And then the other thing that they actually do is they co-run the Democratic and the Republican Party that makes all the policies that affects black women. So I don't think that they're, you know, sitting there saying, oh, you know what we should do? We should really help sisters out. So if they're doing something, they're doing it, you know, in those ways. And certainly that's been effective. And like I said, on the other hand, I don't know if I would do, I certainly wouldn't necessarily do anything retaliatory about it because they're washing their own bloodline out and getting rid of themselves. What do you have to do? So, yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
Okay, that's
Think,
Well, go ahead.
Listen. No, I'm sorry.
No.
I think and out of the two, I don't think that I personally would do anything. I would let it go unabated. I would let it go. It's not like this is their first time in a rodeo either, because remember when they were the fodder for Moorish men. And they, you know, and they lived a life of luxury. If you look at those old paintings, you know, you look at those 11th century and 12th century paintings, they lived a life of luxury. You know, commingling with other races. And so I haven't seen any real pictures of, besides when they were in slavery to their own men here, of them being done, you know, wrong, and intermixing with other races. So I wouldn't do anything about it. But, you know, yeah, they certainly do things, but I don't know if they do things retaliatory because of race mixing, because of black women being with with white men. I don't know if they do anything because of that or just because, you know, there's a general dislike or whatever anyway. So,
you know, one thing, Oasis, I like how you brought that up. And look, that's a good way, and that's an excellent way to look at it. That in regards to women, there's a certain outcome in regards to violence in a way in regards to men, or, you know, because women have, and not just black men, but just in general, don't have like a scarcity when it comes to men, or do they?
Well, it depends. It depends on it. I don't know many women that don't have some kind of standard, even if, you know, a thug is their standard. So whatever category is your standard, then it's going to be limited, and it's going to be limited by your environment, your surroundings, your preferences. So yeah, women do have a scarcity in men. I know the popular thought is that we have men just throwing themselves at us all the time, and so but that's not the case. That's not the case. That's not the case. If you're on Instagram with your ass hanging out, you probably do. But if you just, walking down the street going to the grocery store, probably not. I mean, you're going to have probably more than men, but not nowadays. Nowadays, men have women that are unabashed. They're not ashamed to come at them, so it's pretty even now. But if you want to take a traditional tone to it, then women traditionally, stereotypically have more men coming at them. They don't experience the scarcity as much. But I don't know if that really matters, because women, I think, are temporal with their reactions. They're emotional and very temporal. Hot, quick, it's over with. So, not saying that they don't keep an attitude, but I'm saying as far as the action, it's either, do it to another woman then or whatever. It's just whatever. And so, normally you don't see women retaliating with other or against other women for men or about men unless they're close to that woman. Unless they feel some type of betrayal. And I go, you saw me driving around with him. or you my friend or my cousin or my whatever, my girl. Then, I see more retaliatory actions being taken. But generally, that's something you kind of, let go. I know I'm from the west side of Chicago. And so I've seen more than my share of women walking a man to some other woman's door and having him say, I ain't coming back over here, don't call me no more, bitch. But, fighting or retaliation, I see, normally occurs when the woman feels betrayed by the other woman. I don't think black women feel that white women owe them anything, or will give them what they owe. And so I don't think that they feel like they're going to retaliate against them for being with they haven't retaliated against them for being with a black man. And I don't know if white women have the bravado to attack a black woman like that, physically. And so the only way that I would think that they would do it is the way that they've been doing it, and that's through, socio-economical, political means.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, it goes back to, and people gotta understand, even the harvesters of the oppression is not just always the man. It's always solely done also by the women, because women nurture and groom the men for their comfort in the society and help push the cause. Oh. No, you said something?
No, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, and push the policies for their benefit. And, it's hard for a lot of men and women to wrap their hands around, especially the men, that, you might feel that, going with this other side is better or safer. But you must understand your oppression lies with that same person that if you entertain sexually, she's still putting the things in place and reporting back or helping her man to keep the pressure on your back as a man. Besides your woman, because, other women don't really, be aggressive like when it comes to men, especially when it comes to sex. Men are more the aggressors. I'm saying a man will kill another man for messing with his woman, either white or black. I mean, I'm not sure about the black, but men show more of that punishment, the consequence.
Yeah.
And usually the consequence when it deals with other men leads to, on the average, death.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's the woman, because a lot of men, and I'm not speaking of any particular race, but because it's prevalent in all the races, where by and large, when a woman is found to be cheating with somebody, it's her that get her ass whooped or killed, and the man doesn't normally, even in Sharia law, she's stoned, but they never really tell you anything about the man that that actually did it.
You're right about that.
I can't really remember what the punishment is for a man, committing adultery with another man's wife. I know in our society, by and large, the woman is gonna, be physically assaulted before the man is. They got lines. Yo ho chose me and all of that. They got protective lines for men in society. So I don't even know how true that is, but it is true, because you can look at the jails and see that men are more emotionally prone to murder over property, whether that's a woman, a home, land, whatever, a car, whatever. So but women, women do, women, we have our cases where women do go all the way to kill over men, but it is fewer and farther between than it is men, I agree.
That's true. And even with Sharia law, it's very cruel when it comes to the women. Saying that they will take it out for every little thing. It's not just simple things like if you drop something like a milk or something. They look at if they're gonna spank you or something, or if you talk back to the man. He just like Shahraz Ali that wrote in her book. I think
right, open hand.
Yeah,
to the mouth. Yeah,
just pimp slap like that. It's like And a lot of women were feeling offended when they come across that information by Shahraz Ali. They love her, but they don't like everything about her. And say, you forgot that she's a Muslim.
Right, exactly. It's like I was watching something about Uganda today, and that that meme that's going bananas all over the place. Are you gay? So why are you gay? And I was watching actually the political talks that was surrounding that led up to that interview, and I thought that was so interesting. How people will come and try to speak on. They'll try to speak on your culture. That's her culture. Her culture is the man disciplines the woman physically, and it's a lot of women that's okay with that. That's actually a very popular thing in Hispanic culture. If you live in Hispanic communities, you can see a woman getting a whooping. You can see that pretty regularly. What can only be classified as a whooping actually with a belt. So, it's cultural, definitely. It's cultural, definitely. And I'm trying to figure out now. When you look at some of the laws from Tenochtitlan over in South America, when you look at where the Olmecs were in different places, when you look at the Egyptian laws, and you hear our people say constantly, well, we didn't do that. We got that from the white man. That came from slavery. But those laws are imposed thousands of years before slavery. So we were doing that. We were committing adultery. We were sleeping with a man as one sleeps with a woman. We were, because all of those are laws. So it would be no reason to make those laws if people weren't doing them. You see what I'm saying? We were cheating. We were doing all, of course, cheating, but we were doing all those things. But I don't want to deviate too far from the topic. But I definitely think that if you mess with my man, it's gonna be a problem. If you know that's my man, it's gonna be a problem for both of y'all. So if I was a white woman and in her position of power, I'd retaliate in some form of fashion. It would psychologically bother me, knowing that I'm in a position of power, but I'm not really powerful. Just knowing that because this woman is mismanaging the ideals of power, I'm in power. Then I would have to retaliate. But as a black woman, I don't really understand why black women feel that they need to retaliate or have an attitude even with black men for dating black women or white women.
Okay.
Just because I firmly believe that it's somebody for everybody, and most black women don't even want the type of black men that'll date white women. They'll say nobody wanted his dusty butt anyway, or
Yeah.
You know, I know she's not looking at me funny. I didn't want his dusty butt. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they'll say it. So I don't understand why Black women retaliate, because let him go. You know, let him go. He was going to be damaging, I believe, in the community either way. So let him go.
You know, it's good that you mentioned that, because think about it. We have damaged women in our community, and we also have damaged men. So if these damaged people find it is so toxic dealing with us as people or the opposite gender, then maybe you should venture out. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not doing any decent, you're going to cause more harm than good. I mean, because think about it, we don't have the facilities or anything to heal our people right now. You know, so to sit there and deal with people that are toxic or cancerous or damaged, you just let them go. You know, but in a society, and you know, I find it's more with the women than much the men, and it could be both ways. That I will see most of the women will complain about the interracial coupling. I don't like it, but they will make more complaint about it the most.
Right.
And like you said, I mean, well, it's like it goes back to a scarcity mindset. You know what I'm saying? They say, you know, you say you don't want to deal with this man because he acts and do like this, and say, so if he's not suitable for you or any other Black woman, then by obviously he's gonna probably look for someone outside his race to, you know, deal with, you know, instead just die lonely. Like we like really, you know, to be honest with you, when people have these conversations and we're not being honest, that it's like this. All right, he's not a man. He doesn't look like the man that I want. My image that I'm that asshole. So either you become that asshole that I find suitable, you might get some pussy from not me, but another Black woman. But if not, you should die alone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, is that it? We gotta keep it real. Oh wait, it says you die alone. Just like you don't think no dude's gonna sit there and tell, but I would say you're gonna die. Well, actually, no. Let me tell you about. Yeah, there's some dudes that say that you're gonna die alone. Yeah, I ain't gonna tell you that. They said, and I say, how cruel and shitty is that? But let's say she finds that Brad or Chad. You know what I'm saying? Then you see them dudes make that say, and it's like, damn, we sick as a fucking people. You know what I'm saying? And we're not taking the ones that we don't like or we don't feel that they're not suitable for any Black person. If they go venture out, then by all means, good luck. You know what I'm saying? I can't stop them. I can't. That, you know what I'm saying? Because most women, if you hear them talk, they always say something that this dude is this and that and that. That's why he's not getting none, or he's not doing this, or why he's not suitable pick. Okay, so if he finds that Becky, why the fuck you getting all your feelings?
Right.
It's just insanity.
Especially if he's all the adjectives that you use after that. Coon, sellout, bum ass, dusty ass. Like, if you're gonna use all them adjectives, what difference do it make? I understand though where the complaint originates from. I just don't understand the contradictions of the complaint. I understand that these are supposed to be our providers, our protectors, our friends, our family, our legacy builders, our bloodline enhancers. I understand that.
Yeah.
And to be in a position, you know, in a so-called powerless position, and see that it is hurtful. You know, it is hurtful. I understand that. I just don't understand the contradictions of the complaint. Again, when you then turn around and say, "Oh, well, anybody that would do that is a sellout," because you got to think. Let's say if this man really does not want to be a member of this race for whatever reason, he really wants out, because that has to be part of the consideration when you date interracially. I want out of this man. You have to consider that, and you have to concede to that, right?
Yeah.
So then you need to let him go, because if you don't, what he'll do is procreate in his image, and it'll look like your people, and that is our biggest problem. How we treat one another. That's our biggest problem. I'm a firm believer that white supremacy is Black inferiority.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way for anybody to be supreme over me unless I'm being inferior under them. So, so again, I understand the origin of the complaint, because that's what we mean by ours. You're supposed to be helping me, and I'm supposed to be helping you, so that we can build this image of us that has longevity and progression, right? So yeah, I get that. But if he's all these things, and if what he could contribute biologically could be damaging to us, let his ass go. Let him go. And then, we're just now kind of getting to that era where nerds are sexy. So maybe some women are complaining now because they've had their feel of, waywardness. And so they're like, well, you getting all the good ones, or all the nerds too good for us, and they want to be with white girls, or oh, I know when you talk like that, brother, then you a sellout, or you So maybe it's like now all of a sudden eyes are open, and they're like, oh, let's grab that guy because he could possibly get that job, and then I could have that house that's on TV. So now people complaining. Because it don't appear to me that too many people was complaining in the 50s and 60s when they was making all these high yellow babies. So
damn. I think of that.
I don't know. I really don't understand what's going on, except for we like to complain because complaining is an action, and it's the least energetic action that you could do, versus actually getting your ass up and doing something. Most people meet good mates in their life, even if they're not perfect mates, and we bypass them to put on our visor and block the sun out so we can look over across the street and judge somebody else shit.
Yeah,
I'm not cool with interracial dating. I'm not cool with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I ain't cool with a lot of shit either.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I'm not. If 10,000 black men right now go and start dating white women, that's 10,000 less brothers we got to muddle through.
Okay. Real talk. Yeah.
So it is what it is. Again, though, if I was a white woman, I would be very thankful for the genetic contribution, and then I would make sure that I eat your ass up at the Democrat. At the Democratic policy meeting. That's what I would do. Yeah, so, and I actually, I know this is not going to be a popular position, but I actually think that maybe black men should be more upset when they see a black woman with a white man, because the greater potential to progress in this society in the last 20 years, certainly, has been through black women. And so you're really losing a commodity. I'm not saying that this is an absolute truth. Black men are doing some big things and some beautiful things. I know beautiful black men. I have some complaints about black men, but I got a lot of praise for brothers too. I got complaints about sisters, but I got a lot of praise for sisters. So it's hard for me to not, harmonize my thoughts about both. I see progression for my people. I don't see it all bad, but I also see some truth telling that needs to be done. I see some blinders that need to be taken off. I see some opinions that need to not be so stuck where they are. They need to be a little more fluid. And I also see some respect of nature that needs to occur, because, again, when somebody dates out of their race, they're no longer, hopefully, contributing to your genetic pool. Respect nature. I had a friend she was like not feeling homosexuality at all. And I told her, I said, well, maybe that's nature. Maybe that's nature not allowing that genetic, to enter into the world. Okay. So it is what it is. I try my best not to be concerned with most people's houses unless it's pedophiles or woman killers, baby killers and shit up in there. Yeah. Other than that, if I don't pay your rent, certainly if you don't pay my rent, don't say shit to me about what's going on in my house. If you don't pay my light bill, don't say anything to me. You don't really care. You're just talking. Because if you care, you put something on my utilities. So I try my best not to get into too many of those areas, because I appreciate people that date interracially, so my children don't mess with theirs, or so I don't, or my friends don't, and we can avoid that pitfall.
Avoiding that bullet, man. Gotta avoid.
Yeah. Yeah, and then some people, look, we live in a society where people, when they sit down to watch TV, the impression is they'll never achieve what they see unless they're one of them.
Yes.
And that can be so blinding. And then you know what they say, genetics and environment is who you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then if you have your home life where everybody's trying to emulate that culture,
Mm-hmm.
you can't even really be mad at a lot of people who date interracially because it's what they've been taught to try to achieve.
Yeah.
You have to go all the way back to, my philosophy is that mama is responsible for everything. I know.
No, lay it down. This is learning. I want people. This is learning. So we're not going to.
I'll say this. This mother, me. I'm responsible for everything that happens with my bloodline. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
When I get up and put on my nice fancy shoes to go out for an evening, I'm responsible for the gentleman that I then choose to go out on dates with and procreate with and engage with. I chose the other part of the blood of the genetics for my child. Mm-hmm. I'm responsible for everything that happens to my children, or I'm not happens to my children, that my children are becoming and going through, because I'm choosing every last bit of that. I'm never going to be like, oh, well, these no good ass men, because there's a lot of good men out here. I'm choosing no good ass men. Mm-hmm. And look, Black women are very intelligent people. Very intelligent people. Intuition out of this world. Mm-hmm. And just a godly knowledge. Mm-hmm. just resides in Black women, right? You can't tell me you can't tell a no good nigga.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, he was perfect and then he cheated on me. Oh, well, that happens. That don't mean that Black men are bad. That happens.
Yep, shit happens. Yeah.
Yeah, that just happens. Now, am I saying that, well, if you married a man and he was this and that and you were trying to do the right thing and then he cheated on you, that's your fault? No, I'm not saying that's your fault. I'm saying that that's nobody's fault. It's just over. Mm-hmm. Keep it moving.
Keep moving. Yeah.
Keep it moving. Yeah, unless you don't mind that, then stay and just shut up then and do what you do. But, I accidentally found myself with a bunch of feminists, right?
Okay.
And when I found myself there, when I first got there, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Women that's not afraid to tell men how they feel. Women that's not going to stick in that traditional role of just shutting up and taking it. That's right, sisters. I got your back. That's right. And then they start doing that shit every day. All day. Like they was the women versions of Tommy Sotomayor.
What?
Oh, it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them on the college campuses everywhere, right? And you know this.
Interesting.
You know this. But after a while, I'm like, you know how sometimes, I think this is hilarious. You know how sometimes when you see a woman complaining about something and then you'll see a brother come on the page and be like, who hurt you, sis?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I was. Like, Jesus Christ, he really hurt you. You can't rebound from that. You can't to complain about it every day versus dust yourself off, get up, keep it moving, share your story with sisters so you can make them aware of things to look out for. Share your stories with brothers so you can say, this is how that affected me. Mm-hmm. I actually think that I've heard so many crazy stories from sisters that are hurt and are complaining. They've just resorted to complaining. That if brothers actually knew those stories, I think that would cause some type of, no matter how small, effect on brothers to be like, whoa. But when you just hear the person complaining, you know what I'm saying? You never really get to a state of empathy for them.
Yeah.
Because you're in defense mode.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And I'm certainly not turning this on sisters. Mm-hmm. I'm not turning on brothers. The topic is, should white women retaliate? No, I don't think that they should, but I would if I was a white woman, and I think that they do. And I don't think that they necessarily do just because you're sleeping with them, because I don't think that I think white women are more calculating than just worried about sex. I think they're either whores outright or they're calculating.
Yeah.
You know, they're either one. And so I don't even think that they give a damn about black women sleeping with white men like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I think they care more when black women sleep with black men than they do black women sleeping with white men.
And you know, that's another thing that if we would think about critically, we all know Margaret Sanger made a conscious decision throughout her existence to see the removal of the black race, and how she do it by not seeing black man, black woman produce black babies. Now,
yeah,
I'm not sure why.
And do we all know that it was Faye Waddleton who actually ran Planned Parenthood the longest of any woman, a black woman who is responsible for putting the Planned Parenthood so visible to black women, for making it so accessible to black women. That wasn't a white man plan or a white woman's plan or a black man's plan. That was a black woman that led that, and she's very well respected and known, amongst her peers. And that was her. That was her ideals.
Mm-hmm.
Her ideas, rather. That was her ideas that did that.
Didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought usually it was mostly white women. I know black women played a role in that.
Yeah. No, Faye Waddleton ran Planned Parenthood 25 years.
Wow.
25 years. So,
what year was this again?
Oh, yeah, I'm not really sure. I just, I would say probably from up until probably maybe 2012, 2014, something like that. But she ran it for 25 years. Okay. All right. Yeah. Normally when people say, oh, the white man and abortion falls squarely in the black woman and the black man's lap. Although I've actually went for months at a time with other women to different abortion clinics to see who up in there. And I'll tell you, by and large, it's more white girls up in the damn abortion clinic than it is black. Now, that don't mean that we don't have a problem, but I don't believe a lie that we get more abortions than anybody else. And I know that that's not true, because the white man now changing the laws for white women. He don't give a damn if black people getting abortions. He didn't change the laws for black women not to get abortions and save their babies. He's trying to save his race. Why? Because his women get a lot of damn abortion. Yeah, so.
One question I had to ask. You mentioned white women. I know white women are getting just as much abortions as our sisters. But have you ever thought that some of these abortions also, they're aborting so-called mulatto babies, because they are getting knocked up by black men, and for them to not have this so-called mixed child in the world, they'll kill it for anything else? These white women.
Yeah, they do, but I don't think that that's a huge number, because one of the issues, if you go back, it cycles through. Everything cycles through, right? So you can go back to our time right now. The thing that affected my generation, I would say the most, if you're born in the early 80s or early 70s, right? Let's say that 10-year period. The thing that affects our generation the most is music videos. The colorism that penetrates our particular generation, it rolled over from the 60s, the 50s, the 20s, the 1800s, the 1700s, and everything else. But our particular thing is music videos. Well, we were definitely affected by that. Black women wear a lot more straight weave, because we wore wigs and stuff in the 60s and 70s now. Yeah. But we wear a lot more straight weave because black men had women with straight hair on their videos in the 90s, in the 80s. And then they would say to black women, I can't even pull your hair because it ain't real. So then women went and got long ponytails. But more affected by that than black women, but having to hide it, is white women. Because they'll never be close to the girl on the video. At least she has some black up in her. And so what a lot of white women do, how they play that out psychologically, is to have mulatto children. And if you notice, the beauty competition is heavy in their culture. that's a really heavy thing to try to live out what you never were through your little young so-called cute daughter.
Yeah,
right?
Your mixed daughter.
But
yeah.
nobody asks, and what other ways does that play out with them? It plays out with them in interracial dating and in their fantasies of wanting to be the video girl. It's not just brothers that watch rappers and want to be, want the fly car and the fly honey.
Mhm.
It's also women that watch what the men are doing and want to be the woman in that scenario.
Mhm.
And at least Black women can say, well, I got the hips, I got the this, and I'm where he originates from. But you got this other woman sitting over here, and her only way into that world is to have a little mulatto baby.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a lot of white women are aborting white men's babies, not necessarily Black men's babies.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, that's yeah. Well, I can't argue with that because that's why when they made was it legal back in '73, the same time I think when you came around that it did hurt not our community, but it hurt their community just as much because they are the bigger population. And if they made more access for women to just terminate the baby at a much more quicker rate, either if they're carrying a few months and I never told you this, Oasis. One woman told me she knew of a friend that terminated a baby just as the baby's about to soon be born.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So because abortion, the laws that's put in place abortion, women now just have the choice if they don't want to deal with the baby, instead of carrying the baby full term, they will kill it at any time. And a lot of people don't talk about it. They feel say you can't do extra much because it'll be a violation. No, not in this society. There are ways to determine they can get around that.
If you want to do something, you can find a way.
You'll find a way, yeah. And a lot of people can conceptualize say, why would you kill a baby when you know the baby's is fully developed? I said, well, you got to understand people's mentality. It's not what their situation is. If they feel they're mentally ready to be a mother.
Yeah. In early America and Greece and a lot of different places, right? One of the methods of abortion was to just take the baby out to the forest and leave it there. You go all the way through the pregnancy, have the baby, and then just abandon it somewhere. You just leave it somewhere, and the vestiges of that is now people leaving babies in garbage cans or on people's door or whatever. I mean, that's plenty cruel. That's extremely cruel.
They leave,
I have my own opinions about abortion. I'm not putting money on anybody's light bill, so I'm not gonna then tell you, and you better buy them Pampers if you go get pregnant or whatever. That's not my, it's not my place, not my business. And then I'll tell you, I've seen some horrible parents. I've seen some horrible fucking parents who, should have done it. So, I don't know. But if you want to do something, you'll get it done. And certainly, I don't think that. Again, I took like 4 months and just went with several of my girlfriends. We just wanted to just do this and just see. Because we were, to be honest, tired of Black men saying, "Oh, y'all killing all the damn babies." So we just wanted to see. We even went to offices in Black neighborhoods, and they were predominantly filled with white girls. We went in D.C., we went in Chicago, we went in Detroit, and we went in Indiana. And yeah, I've never been in one that was, and I'm talking about in most Black neighborhoods. In the 90s.
Okay.
So I don't know what it is now, but this was in the 90s. And, maybe now women are going out and probably not maybe, I'm sure now lots of Black women are just ending up in situations, and this is a form of birth control.
Which it is.
Yeah. But I don't really blame a woman. Like if my son came to me and he's upset and he's like, "Yeah, an abortion," I would be so disappointed in my son because you gave your genetic material to somebody and you didn't know what type of person they were.
And she just threw it away.
Yeah, you didn't know what she was gonna do with it. Really, you don't have anything to say. You gave it away.
Yeah, and you have no control of it. And you have no control of that because and we gotta be honest, Oasis. Men we give and women receive, right? So where we give to a woman, she's gonna take it, cultivate, and do whatever with it. That's why when most dudes feel that the law should be more favored or balanced in regards to men and women, especially when it comes to children, I say, well, the society you live in, especially as Black people, we don't control. So anything they put in policy is always going to embed in them, and it's going to be harmful to us. So let's say a woman has choice to either carry it or kill it, and at times, let's say you as man, you don't want no kids, but you decide to shoot the club inside of her vagina, and then, oops, a couple months, she's pregnant, and then you tell her, say, you get rid of it, or say, you have no power to tell a woman what she should do with that seed that you implant in her.
That's right. Because let me tell you what you won't do. You will not go drive your nice car over to her house and leave it there. No, you won't. No, you won't. You're going to make sure you got paperwork on your car. You're going to make sure everything is right so you can drive away with your car. But your baby or your DNA, leave it there. And then you want to complain and talk shit about it later. It's too late now. You gave up your property. This is a nation of property rights. If you surrender your property to me, it's mine now. Go somewhere. I do what I want to do with it. And, for you to just give it away and then you don't really know the person. I told my sons, my sons they're older now. But I told my sons, if you end up on child support, that's your fault.
Yep.
Well, because women really not putting good men on child support. Providers, they're not really putting Nobody wants to mess that up, right?
Yeah. Or men that's doing what he should be. Or
getting any money from child support when they do put somebody on child support.
The average right now on child support, let's say the average, besides if you like a baller and you like a celebrity and so you're making more than that, it's like roughly $500 a month, almost roughly. The average,
I want to know who's getting that because I know about 10 women getting child support and they ass getting $50 to $75 a month. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this is what they said numbers wise, the average. But when we think about it, when it comes to us, and did I ever tell you a story? Oh, Osisa King, let me tell you this quick story because it's good for people to learn, and people might have heard the story. I went on Facebook. I know of a particular young woman. Well, she's not young. She's in her 30s. She had to go to court, and she got a court order document from her, I believe, her first baby daddy or only baby daddy. The baby daddy is trying to have her come to court to reduce the payment of child support that he has to pay weekly. You know how much the dude was paying weekly on child support?
How much?
Now, mind y'all gonna laugh to this, and I want you to leave comments to see how funny this is. $1.10. I was done. Yo, let me tell you something. Her friends told her, say, yo, take that post down. No, she didn't want to take it down first because she was dead fucking serious. She was dead serious. And I sit there and look and say, listen, you can buy a cigarette, what do you call those things? The Lucy's for that.
Right.
You tell me you can't listen. That means you ain't productive as a dude. You on your ass. You lazy ass. Well, I don't know if you lazy, but I'm curious. Yeah, you lazy as fuck right now, my dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then she ought to be ashamed because you had a baby by somebody that could only give you. You know what I'm saying? Like
and she tried to avoid not putting him on child support. But I tell most sisters this. Listen, good ladies. If the dude is the dude that you pick, and he depend what his status is in life, what he's doing, don't put him on the system. Now, if he's one of the dudes that and you pick that's not productive at all, you're gonna have to take that L and put him on the system. It ain't gonna benefit you because you get. And this is why a lot of dudes misconstrue the problem. Child support in the 21st century is not a come up for a Black woman or any woman.
Right.
If the average is $5, you cannot maintain a child much as yourself for $500 a month.
Right.
It's impossible. You see, rent is high. All that stuff. You need assistance from the government.
Right.
So if that's the average, and like you said, and I agree, some are not even getting close to that. You really are screwed. You're going to do all bad by yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to be a strong, independent woman that they keep talking about, right? And I got something lazy about that. I got a actual written work of a particular woman that has got a doctorate in the field of, I don't know, psychology or something. And her dissertation paper deals with this myth of the strong, independent Black woman. And her findings in her studies, because she's a doctor now, she could conclude, and this is what got her doctorate degree, that any woman that calls herself strong, independent has mental illness.
Instead of resourceful and progressive.
Yes, exactly. And I will review that sometime, and it'll probably be beginning of 2020, most likely. It won't be this year, because the year's almost done anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna review that information. But this is what's going on right here, that put these dudes on it if you feel is necessary. Because think about this. Like me and the Great Liberator talk about this. Y'all dudes got getting off easy just by paying a little crummy child support. Back then, 60 years ago, that was not even a thing. And matter of fact, it was not something that you could just walk away from your responsibility, because usually the father that was still in the role of both his children's life got a shotgun ready for you. Say, you're gonna marry my daughter today. I'm gonna blow your brains out. You hear about shotgun weddings, and I understand why that's because Elias is not gonna be slinging dick and pregnant and making his daughter become a so-called baby mama, where the next man is gonna take the pill. If most ain't gonna deal with it, most who's gonna do that. He ain't gonna have that. He's like, you're gonna marry my daughter now. You're gonna support her now. Right. These dudes got it easy now in the 20th and 21st century in regards to child support, and they whine and complain about that. As you can easy. Matter of fact, the reason why you dudes get on that, because first of all, you would not have gotten close to these sisters if they had their father that spit game on about who not to deal with. And I heard even when me and Charles were talking about with the other brother, Mr. Max Black, on another stream about this, about how most of these women do pick bad dudes in spite of the father. If the father feel that he don't like him, sometimes that's the one they deal with the most. And then once they get burned, they come back, cry to the father, say, "You're right, Daddy. I should have listened to you," and all that stupidness. You get me?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. The Black home has been in a jacked up position for a long time. One of the reasons why you have the type of relationships that you have right now is because Black grandmothers, the nice, docile, submissive ones that they always talking about. Yeah, while they was being submissive, they was getting their kids ready and saying, "Don't you never let no man treat you like this." They just weren't saying it to the man, right?
Yeah.
And so then their children grow up. Well, here's the thing: your sons see the father doing the mother a certain way. What people think is just traditional. Oh, you shut your ass up, don't talk in church, don't ask no man no question, don't say nothing, don't show your sexuality, don't be under me, do what I say. My mind is the greater mind here, and I'm gonna lead this. And the Bible says so, even though I don't follow shit else in the Bible. Do as I say. Right?
Yeah.
And they think that's tradition, and that's A-okay. If you do that and you submit to that, then you're a good woman, right? Okay, well, women submitted to that. A lot of women in the 60s submitted to that. A lot of women submitted to that, and then the man was a drunk and didn't come home after they had the 5th baby. A lot of women submitted to that, and they got their ass whooped. And another thing that happened was a lot of Black men touched our aunties, uncles, and mothers in the 50s and 60s, in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
Sexual perversion for whatever reason, for a myriad of reasons, not just slavery, but for a myriad of reasons, is endemic in our culture, right? And so a lot of what we see now is It's a result of our own backwards homes too. Again, white supremacy is black inferiority.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's the bottom line on that. Of whatever way you want to see that, black inferiority and white supremacy are synonymous. They go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
They go hand in hand. So you got a lot of women that you got a lot of my sisters that will take a brother to court to get some assistance in raising their child.
Mm-hmm.
I don't knock that. I personally got too much pride to go ask another man to make a man have respect for me.
And to get him to do what he should be doing like any other man, hold your responsibilities.
Exactly. And see, here go the thing. A man will take care of a child if he respects the woman.
Mm-hmm.
He don't even got to really see. Men ain't just like, oh, this my son. I love him so much. That's my name. Patriarchy in that manner has been dead. Ever since the first white man lost his children in court, that was dead. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was in the 30s, I think.
Dead.
I think it was the 30s.
Yeah, it's not like that's a natural thing. But when a man respects you, he'll do what he can or what he will do, put it like that, for the child. But we don't cultivate relationships with men or take responsibilities for the type of men that we choose. And so men don't have a respect for us because they know that we should take responsibility for choosing a dog-ass nigga if he know he a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't respect you. And by, in the same vein, they don't give a damn about that baby.
Yeah.
I'm not going to another man and being like, hey, big daddy, boss man, whatever, can you make him take care? No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise a super progressive child. I'm going to make you feel like Dennis Rodman daddy when he had to find Dennis Rodman and say, I'm so sorry for not being there and being able to celebrate in these millions. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you that I am the better parent. I'm not just the default parent.
Yeah.
But I understand that some sisters got to do what they got to do, and they need that assistance. I've always been metaphysical in my parent and rearing my children, my parenting, and I've always said I'm not going anywhere. I'm not sending my children to daycare, and I'm not begging no man for nothing. I'm gonna be totally responsible. I'm gonna be totally honest with my children about who I am, the mistakes I've made, how I'm growing, how we're going to grow together, and what direction we're going to go in, and nobody's going to bip or bop from that, or it's going to be consequences and repercussions. When you can have that type of attitude, then that pish posh penny ante ass couple dollars that the state now all up in your business.
Yep.
And all up in this man's business, making him not respect you, just throw you a couple dollars. Throw you and that baby a couple of insufficient dollars. This man's presence is more important than his presence.
Yeah. A lot of women don't miss that. Say, what do you want your child?
If he ain't shit.
Yeah, if he ain't shit, you're right.
Man, keep your money and everything else that pertains to you. What I'm going to do is evolve your ratchet ass bloodline. I'm going to be your Jesus. And evolve, throw away all the bad and rebirth the new.
Yeah.
And evolve that. That's just me personally. Now, if you got a child's father and he out balling with, big money, now it depends on if that money is countable, taxable. If it's taxable and you like, oh no, he not just gonna keep riding past me and my baby and stunting and da.
And then your children could have needed that for better.
And I'm struggling and I'm this and I can't figure it out and I need some assistance to get to the next level or whatever. Then by all means, do what you got to do. I just don't advocate. My grandmother used to explain child support to me like this: you can't get blood from a grapefruit.
Okay.
So I don't even, for me, I could not imagine going to beg another man to get this man to help me with a baby that we laid down and made together. I just feel like that's a level of disrespect that I don't want to have anything to do with you at all. And now that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop the child from dealing with you, but as long as I got to pay all this child bills, brother, I'm the parent. I'm the custodial parent and the actual parent. I'm parenting. You're not. So don't come up in here like, oh, she won't let me see my baby. The state won't let me see the baby either if I don't take care of it.
Yeah.
You got to take care of the baby. So, I don't necessarily agree with child support. I don't disagree with it either. I'm very in the middle. I'm very in the middle with most things. It depends on the situation. You got some men out here that got big bank that's just going and dropping babies off and women. Do I think that the woman should try to get child support? Maybe. Yeah. I wouldn't just sleep with no man without no contracts that I thought was balling though. The first thing my mind would be set on is not no baby to get the money. It would be on the contract to get the money.
And think about it, Oasis. When me and the Great Liberty, even him said it best that we take away when it comes to us dealing with us or any way direction we want to take this. If we're dealing with it in regards to relationships, we're not vetting each other to see the ins and outs of each other to even proceed. And I'm gonna say something, and most women don't understand this. Even the few dudes that I talk to, some of them in their mind, they feel said if they don't get the coochie by, I guess, the second night or third night, whatever case may, he feels that him proceeding with a woman is obsolete. He don't want nothing to do with it because in his mind, and this goes for many brothers, if they think like this, or if they are thinking on that she's already given her goods to the next man, and you're just holding the bag, dealing with her, And I say that might be possibly true, but like anything, you have to vet and feel the woman out. You know what I'm saying? It's not an easy process. See, the problem with this society, we're in a constant go. Hold on. Sorry about that. I just gotta wait for that to pass by. We're always in a quick fast. Grab and go. You know what I'm saying? Get in, get out. With that mentality, you're not gonna be thinking about something to build on or looking to see longer term. And because it's what you see, the environment we live in today is a result of these babies. And people are crying, complaining, and I say, well, when you thinking like that and operating like that, like a permanent animal, or like anything, like a machine constantly on the go, move, what do you expect? I want people to really sit down and think good about us. The event is not just you to sit down, get no, but you vet the person out, say, should I proceed and mix my bloodline to create this new this new being?
Right.
We have to really think it because at the end of the day, it's not you or the man that decides to sleep together to make the baby. Your child suffers at the end of the day because it deals with the complications of the two of you. And it feels that it might play a role because children always feel that they always feel that they hurt. They blame themselves why mom and dad don't stay together. You hear the stories a lot of children feel that it's their fault why they break up because children don't want to see the two people that created them to separate the way they are.
Right.
They see one thing. To be honest with children, as much time their innocence, they're the only set of any being that wants completeness, wholeness. Why? Because they came from two. They're as whole as they get. They come as a new slate.
And then you put them in front of the TV and everybody got a whole house, a whole mother and father, all of that. So not only in their beginning of their life, but also in their imaginations and the things that you put into their imagination, this is what it looks like. But then you turn around and say, oh, we ain't going to be able to make it. Which most of us, I don't know very many people that even have that discussion with their child. That seemed to me to be some, made for TV type of stuff where people, I know a lot of Black children that are affected by their parents separating, and I haven't heard the parents say shit about it.
Wow.
Most times when sisters and brothers break up, I ain't gonna be with your mama no more. But then they don't pay attention to the subsequent actions by the child, the behavior changes. wetting the bed, talking back, going, staying out later. All of those things are from a broken
household,
home, a broken relationship, right? From a child losing respect for the authority because the authority isn't handling itself, with stability. So, we often don't address how separation, anxiety, and issues from child to parent plays out. And we really should. It's okay to make love songs and R&B songs about me and this man broke up and me and this woman broke up, and we all into the adults' feelings and emotions. But I say quite regularly that is a farce that Black people love Black children. We might love our own, but as a whole, I don't see it.
No, we don't.
I don't see it. Can't nobody make me think it.
No.
Because it's just not the case. We love sensationalism. We love when one missing and say, "Oh, that was so cute," but for the most part, we don't. Because if you did, you would make moves for the future, and not just for your children. You would think, "Oh, my little child has to marry one of these children.
Exactly.
Let me make sure these children are straight." But yeah, for the most part, we not all that crazy about our children. And then we got such a superficial, I don't even know if superficial is a high enough standard. It might be lower than superficial, but we got a superficial love for ourselves. Because let's say you're that guy that's saying, "Hey, if you don't give me give it to me in the first 2-3 days." First of all, brother, you don't give a damn about yourself the way in America, they say, well, globally, herpes is 70 to 90% of the population, and you want to sleep with somebody in 2 to 3 nights with something that a condom ain't finna cover you on? I tell my children all the time that there's a such thing as simplex 1. Don't kiss none of these motherfuckers, okay? None of them. You'll get it like that. Don't kiss on them. If he like you and you like him and y'all go out, you say, "Okay, let's do this. You like me? You want my number and everything? How about the first day be at the clinic? Let's get our test results done, and then shit. If we want to do it that afternoon, once we got our test results in, just 2 grown people doing it. But for people to sit up and say, "Well, if in 72 hours you ain't hit it, man, you might as well move on. She playing you, or she's stringing you along, or just be willing to," as you said, women are receivers. I think people should be reciprocators, but women are receivers. That's no way. I'm not going to receive shit without that paperwork. Not in 2019, 14 to 10, 2009, 2007. I'm not doing it. And I don't even get that, but I do get it if you have this disillusioned concern for yourself. This I am the shit, but I treat myself like shit in actuality. This is, the lack of value that we have for our own individual self manifests, and the lack of value that we have for other Black people. We look at how we treat other Black people, but we don't say, well, damn, how much we be treating ourselves. But it shows in our relationships, in our partnerships, business wise, our family, with our children, our grandparents, and it just shows. That's all a manifestation of how you feel about yourself. But certainly, if you have statements that stick with us, like women are receivers and men are givers, men are receivers. Men are receivers, women are receivers, and we both should be reciprocators. It's because we don't make it okay for men. Look, men, Black men, and a lot of Black men in certain socioeconomic groups are nothing but receivers. If it wasn't for the fact that they weren't receiving so willingly, you could almost say they're being emasculated, but it would be them doing the emasculation of themselves, allowing themselves to be in a position of receiving so much tangible stuff. But when I say receivers, I mean as far as things of importance. The idea that you're placed in this position. This is such a high position to be a father. I always say, my husband and I, we talk all the time about this, that there's levels to personhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say a man, you got the boy, you got the male, you got the man, you got the father, right?
Mm-hmm.
Father is the highest level of manhood you can get to.
Okay.
It's the highest level. It's where everything about being a man actually comes into fruition. It's like God was just God. Then he was like, nah, forget that. I'm going to be everybody at the same time all throughout time so I can be the supreme being. Instead of just being a man, I'm actually putting all of this into action, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of us procreate with brothers that ain't never even had their own lease before. So if you ain't never had to provide a place, a roof over your own head, you haven't mastered manhood. Now, that's not the only qualification, but you damn sure haven't mastered it if you haven't done that. And then if you haven't done that, and here comes some woman, when black women, we're saviors. We haven't saved ourselves, but we want to save the black man, right? Oh,
Okay.
He came from the same neighborhood I came from, and I know it look like he ain't shit, but then what am I? So I need to save this brother. All he needs is love in the home. So, but again, that's why I say women be at fault. But fatherhood this is the most important level of personhood that you can achieve.
Mm-hmm.
But because we make men believe that, oh no, you're just supposed to be this automaton giver, just give, and I'm the receiver. I receive. I try to put into my husband, like I wrote on his Facebook page yesterday, I try to tell my husband all the time, I'm so appreciative of you. I respect you so much. My husband is brilliant. He is brilliant. One of the things about him that makes him brilliant is choosing me, and not these others out here. Yeah. But he's brilliant. He's futuristic. He's progressive. Yeah. And all of those things are things.
And he's creative.
I didn't need a man in my home. I'm magnetized by black men. That's one of black women's biggest problems is our magnetic attraction to black men. Mm-hmm. The fact that, we'll just stop and start complaining instead of saying, I'll show you. Mm-hmm. It's the difference between surviving and thriving. A lot of us survive and not thriving. But again, those contributions add value to once you give those contributions and then you receive the reward of that, mm-hmm. which is creating a home. Then you start to see value in yourself and you realize, oh, wait a minute, it's a whole different level besides manhood. We think that fatherhood is just somebody that go to work and make sure that it's some Christmas toys or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Father is just the person that paid the gas. Yeah. Father is the buffer between mother and child. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the reason. It's not that black women don't know how to raise proper human beings, but black women are magnetized to black men. Mm-hmm. And when the black man is not there, the buffer between the woman and child, the peer, is gone. And so you're more likely to get frustrated, where if that man was there, maybe you wouldn't have talked like that in front of those children. Yep. Maybe you wouldn't have went clean off because you got an image to uphold in front of this man, right? Mm-hmm. A father is a very important for the progression and continuity of the home, right? Yeah. This is the primary ideal that we should be focused on is the progression of the home. Mm-hmm. And so this is why I say, getting back to it, if you got somebody that don't want to be in the home, they want to be with a whole nother race, let their ass go. Why do you care? There's less people for you to have to sort through. Mm-hmm. A scientist got 10,000 ways to, if he has 10,000 ways to get to the root of a problem, when he go to one, he's happy that he's only got 9,999 now, not that the one didn't work. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, again, the primary goal that need to be on our home is not saving the whole damn race. When you save your home, you helping to save the race. Yep. When you lift your home out of darkness, you're helping to save the race. It can't even be about ourselves anymore. That was 10, 15, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. When you get yourself together, you need an ideal now bigger than yourself. Yeah. And that ideal is the home. But it's just that our talented 10 is talking instead of building a home. Most of our talented 10 ain't even got no damn home with nobody. Yeah. Most of our talented kids come up with plans, but don't show you the plan in action in their own life. So yeah, I mean, the issues with us and our relationships, with us and our children, I think, with us and other cultures, with us in economics, with us in politics, with us creating policy, because policy comes out of the home being built. Once the home is now being built, this is why nobody wants to support anybody on any policies, because they don't got anything for it to affect.
Well, it does affect you because now you can't get a job.
Yes, you can. You can get a job.
It does affect you because now you have no political monopoly. No political collateral.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Ask somebody that got, 2,500 people on their Facebook page, but get 7,000 likes and yada, yada, yada. Do they have political influence? You don't have to go and lobby, the courts and the judges and the politicians you have to have something of value that you're not playing about.
Yeah.
And for Black people, that can only be the home. And until it's the home, we're gonna bring up. All of these things that we're talking about is gonna be a continual topic until
what they call a constant spiral, a constant hamster wheel.
Yeah. Until people that's running their mouth can say, "Oh, here's my progressive home right here." Until everybody that's the messiah and the planners and the and then this and that, the initiators of everything, until they can turn the camera around. Because one thing I know about my people is we followers.
Yes, we are. Indeed.
We're followers.
Yep.
You can look at us as Christians. We're followers. And so if you want Black people to do what you want them to do or what you think is progressive, all you gotta do is show them what you're doing. That's why I created Instagram, for our progression.
And not only that, if you think about it, and this is so true what you said, if people didn't know, you cannot be a president of the United States unless you have an actual family. You ever notice that? You've never seen that one time ever president that is a batshit that's running a country where he does, because they know the first foundation of structure is how well you create and hold a home. And
you can't even sit there and have the moral authority to say that you passing laws and yada yada, which I know they don't give a damn about all that, but they give a damn about the look of it. And how do you even presume to have the moral authority to to co-sign or create laws, or pass laws that affect homes, and you don't know what that's about? So just like Ados was behind Marianne Williamson, right? Well, when she said she ain't had no man and her cat just died, I knew she was.
She had what?
She don't have a man. She don't have a husband.
And she's
running for president, and that was the Ados girl. They was rooting behind her, but I knew she was going nowhere because she's single. So that really just to add on to what you were saying about they don't pick single presidents.
Hell no. And you're never going to see it in this country or anywhere in the world. And even if you look globally, nowhere in existence of humankind, you see anybody that as a king and there's no queen, much as there's a president without his set of family, wife or kid. Or it could be just him and his wife and eventually kid. That's why you think about, even when Obama was the president, right? You see all these articles come out say that she wants to divorce. And I'll say, but hold on, damn well they can't afford a president of the United States to be divorced while he's in serving term in office.
Right.
Same thing when good old Bill Clinton was getting his dick sucked. How his wife could have left him that day. But no, so they advised her, no, you ain't going nowhere. Because they gotta keep the image of cohesive structure that any society, when you're running through a major office and controlling a set of people in a country, they have to see that sense of stability of a union between man and woman and child. It's like the true trinity.
Right.
Without that, you don't have no actual society. Matter of fact, you don't have an actual nation. And that it shows clearly in the presidency. Every president you see, even to now, has to have that. if you're a woman trying to run for office and you don't got a man, or you can't have a woman as a mate to be president, because they're not gonna have that. That's for sure. Has to be an opposite sex. And how I can prove it? Look right now at all people that's in office, and especially that's running the highest office, which is president. You don't see no two women in office. This is my mate, a white, a female. Same for the man. This is my mate, a man. That's not allowed.
You know, Chicago actually voted Lori Lightfoot. That's a black woman, and she's what's the name of it? Anyway, she has a white wife actually.
Okay.
So yeah, I wouldn't say that that's a high position of power, but it's not a low one either to be, mayor of a major city.
Yeah.
It's not a high one, but it's not a low one either. But But as far as presidents and kings and emperors, all of that, I just saw the Chinese. Was it China?
Xi Jinping.
Was it China? I think it was China. But he and his wife got married, and she had to lay her ass flat on the ground. She had to completely prostrate herself to him.
You mean Xi Jinping? Xi Jinping?
Yeah. And so I thought that was interesting, because it don't matter whether they polygamous, monogamous, culturally traditional, it doesn't matter. They come up in there with a home, with members for a home. And it's not that our home isn't in disarray because of all that's going on. Everything is going on because our home is in disarray. And it doesn't matter if you got, it does matter. The ideal home is one of true pair marriage. And by true pair marriage, I mean a man and a woman. I mean the way that you create bloodline, right? Do whatever you want to do. But I'm saying the way that you create bloodline, the way that you have an authentic home, is to do it how everybody got here, and that's one man and one woman, right?
Yeah,
right. Now, if you're black, then it goes without saying that in order for your survival, in order for you to thrive, there should be a black man and a black woman creating black children.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're talking about survival now. We're talking about survival. We're not talking about of all, I could have this instead of no. We're talking about actual survival, which a lot of you niggers don't give a crap about today. You want to say you can go around with your sexual organs and procreate with someone that's non-black, which is really interspecies mingling, which is another form of homosexuality, but it's another story. That you are producing some byproduct, which that byproduct is going to produce other byproducts, which really is going to be the dominant society.
Yeah, we're real temporal thinking, though. We don't think that our one relationship and two relationships gonna do anything. It's not until, until we, everywhere we look,
see less of us.
That, by our actions, we've consented to have our image replaced.
Yeah.
We wake up and see stuff.
Yeah. And then also might create an even bigger oppression if we're not careful. What you see now, because say if it's even by skin color, I mean, you're producing people that's less than you, then they're gonna follow the status quo and play the game with you, against you, But like I said, we don't have the foresight as people because we still act and conduct ourselves like children, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. I was just thinking about black women with white men and how I don't really know a lot of black women with white men, but I do see it. And I haven't, I come from the west side of Chicago, and so I think about things on a regular neighborhood black level, and then I think about them in other ways. But I tend to focus more on, because I think that's how you get to the root of why things are going the way they go, is if you don't put a million studies in your face from people who weren't in that actual situation, they just studied it. But I've actually been, around that, and for the most part, let me see some of the things that I hear being said about that. Oh, black women act nicer with white men. Everybody acts nicer with somebody else. Your children will go to somebody else's house and spend the night and wash the damn dishes and come home and give you attitude about it. Everybody does that.
Okay.
So, that's one thing. The other thing is, I don't see most of those relationships being long term. I can see somebody 5 years today and then see them 5 years from now and they're not with that white man. Or if they are, they're not no closer to being in a committed relationship than they ass was before. 3, black men push black women to white men.
Yeah, I'm seeing now because of the interracial of black men for the last 52 years. That's why I see what's going on now with these Gen Zs and some millennials. Well, mostly Gen Zs are the ones that's really going lengths.
When you say verbiage like he's the man, or he always oppressing us, or I can't get him off my back, or if I had his hands, I wouldn't need mine. I'd heard so many sayings. When you say stuff like that, and then you stand before your woman, and she watching that damn TV, or you know what I'm saying, and she see this man fixing stuff, and he doing this and that, and then she asks you to put up the bookshelf, and it's rickety rackety. And now she got to pick up this. I'm a firm believer in the minute a woman got to pick up a screwdriver and she got a man in the house, she becomes a man. Yeah, the minute she got to do what you're supposed to be doing, what's in her mind that you're supposed to be doing, you're defeminizing her. Yeah. They say women emasculate men, but I think men can defeminize women.
Yeah.
And because they believe that these white men are fixing everything and know how to run all the tools and stuff. That's what TV tell them. When if you talk to your average white women, they'll tell you they can't do the shit.
Yeah, Brad can't fix pencil, much less much know how to use a screwdriver.
Right. Nobody even thought that until they made Home Improvement with Tim the Two-Man Taylor. He was breaking every damn thing.
You're right about that. I remember that TV show. Yeah, that show's real. Right. Yeah. That was famous. That was a famous TV show too. That was a famous TV show.
Yeah. When I first, when my husband and I first started dating, right? I remember I had funny story. It was a bee behind me, and I bust up in the house, right, to get away from the bee. When I bust up in the house, I knocked off the whole the wood, on the door, and so and we were at my house. This was before we got married and got a house together. We were over at my house, and so a couple days went by and the door wasn't fixed. And I sat my husband down. He was my boyfriend, and I said, I'm very disappointed that door isn't fixed, and it makes me think that you don't think as highly of me as you say you do to let my door stay broken like that. And what he said to me gave me pause to be like, you need to, be more circumspect. Because he said, I'm not really a carpenter, and I didn't know how to fix that, and I didn't want to mess your stuff up, and then you really got a problem with me. And I thought, that made me think, because we don't, again, I really think that men should be receivers as well, but receivers of some empathy, some understanding, some kindness. Your brothers grew up in the same house you grew up in. Your cousins grew up in the same house you grew up in. And unfortunately, in the 70s, it wasn't a lot of daddies teaching sons how to work tools and how to do this and that. So then you get him home, and then you complaining, you don't know how to fix shit. I'm finna get me a real man. What? Yeah, and then a lot of brothers get scared. They get, leery of telling a woman because they don't want to even hear all of that. Then that's why they say, white women nicer, because don't worry about it. We'll get somebody to fix it. Then they go tell their friends about your black ass can't fix nothing. Oh, he's good for his kid. Yeah, they just don't tell you because they still want the dick. The black woman knows she can go get another black man with some good stuff. Yeah, so,
they're abundant. They're abundant. They're abundant.
Yeah, she want in addition to the good stuff because she can get that. The white woman just wants the good stuff because she can get anybody to fix her shit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let me tell you, until we add some value to one another, until black men can look at their lawns and say, I'm not going to let this grass look like this, I got pride. I'm a father, I'm not just a man. I have a whole home to run. I'm not just lording over this woman, I'm lording over my future. I'm not just, until black women say, I'm not, nobody to be kicked around. I'm not going to be blaming these men for my condition or for the condition of my children. Because what if the damn man died? Is the child just left the chance then?
Yeah.
You're saying, the children are the way they are now because y'all leave them. Well, what if he died?
Mm-hmm.
So what? Somebody left you. You still responsible for your children.
Exactly.
You don't like what men are like now? Raise your son up to be a decent human being. And I always say to you, as mothers, we're afraid to let our children, our sons, mess with tools and stuff. Women, we're more squeamish.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you don't want to understand when they don't know how to operate too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you didn't give them none.
Yeah.
And you can't, if you know what's missing from them because their father isn't there, you know enough to complain about it. Then you're supposed to provide what the child needs, because it's not the child's fault that the man not there. And since you decided to be the one to stay, you got to provide what's missing.
Yep. You got both
so,
below.
Yeah. Until we accept that responsibility, we do accept that responsibility. I'm the one buying the shoes. You're not the one really doing anything to progress us, and I can prove that because we're not progressing.
Damn.
So yeah, that's one of my pet peeves: black women that complain about absent fathers, and then don't do the work.
Yeah.
Because it's not your job to raise a man; it's your job to raise a healthy. I use this word over and over because this is my core belief and righteous progression.
Mm-hmm.
That's my core. That's my religion: righteous progression.
Yes.
And so, to complain about what this man isn't providing and then not do everything within your power to provide it, a woman should know that when you, what's the old saying? Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. I'm not absolving black men of their responsibility to their children, to their homes, to their women. I'm not doing that. I'm just speaking specifically to if they don't do it. Then what?
Then what? Yeah.
And I promise you, you catch more flies with honey than more bees with honey than you do with shit. And if you just do what you need to do and make beautiful, happy, healthy, progressive children, those men will come. They'll come. I had a house full of children. That's never been an issue for me. It's never been an issue because, one, I don't allow my children to be no heathens. That's one. I run a stable home. Two, I'm progressive just as a woman, as a businesswoman, as a thinking woman, as an empathetic woman, as a compassionate woman. And then I try my best. I try my best to lift my partner up mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially, in every way. I don't want anybody to be with me and then leave and not be better than when they came in, because that speaks volumes about their time with me. And I think that, black women dating white men is looking for the idealistic man. But those men are there in the black race. You may have to lift yourself up to meet them. We don't like to think about that, though. We don't like to think that it ain't just them, it's us too. And men don't like to think that either. It's not just them, it's us too. But I think internally everybody knows that. Everybody knows, this is what we do wrong and this is what they do wrong. Not just this, what they do wrong.
I get you.
So I think that the whole thing, white women being mad at black women dating white men, even let's say if they did do something about it and we saw what they was doing about it, the root of the problem still would be black women and black men's relationships. That would be the root of the problem. unless people start marching and advocating like gays and everybody else did, like loving versus whatever.
Virginia.
Like they did, advocate to be with that court case where the interracial court case where the black woman and white man wanted to get married and it was against the law.
Mm-hmm.
And so they sued the government to be able to get married.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless they start marching and stuff to be able to be with white men or I don't know who they would be marching against to. I mean, who they would be protesting against to do that because it's just a public opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say again, if white women were doing something outright, what could we do about it?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Only thing you can do is not be inferior.
So
that's the only thing that's gonna get us up out of this situation. If white women are doing something regardless, so if you want to go date their man on top of that, then go right ahead because they already gonna do something. They're raising the men that are oppressing you. They work in the schools that don't teach your children shit.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? They're already doing something. So, could they do something else? Yeah, I'm sure. The consequences of that is going to be felt by us regardless, and it's still going to go right back to, wait, why am I fucking with they men any damn way?
Mm-hmm.
I listen to a lot of swirlers on YouTube. I haven't heard of one that just say, I don't have a problem with black men. I love black men, but I love white men too. I haven't heard of one say that they all got a problem with black men and that's why they swirling.
This is true. And one thing to tie back, and Serena always emphasizes he has empathy as a man, and at times I don't think I show my empathy enough towards our women and our men enough, maybe. But that's one thing a black man could show, besides everything else he should be doing to be competitive against other group of men. But there's a point where the empathy of certain black men, especially with other black men, can be run real thin, which I agree with my brother. As my empathy is very thin with you dudes, because we should be more ahead in this. Everybody said that we should be more beyond this, and you chose not to now, And this is dealing with other men, and not saying women, don't witness what other men deal with other men, especially with us men, brothers, other black men. But it's there. It's not there in large, but it is there. And it's come to a point, like any man said, we just gonna just move on, strive on, because we don't have the time and energy to deal with broken people, Just like if the sisters want to go that direction, go ahead, by my blessing, go do it. But all I know is, you mess around, regardless of what the data you said that it's much better than dealing with somebody that's non-black or what they call non-black American. And then I still don't really go by or agree by it because there are so many black men that's doing things, but you as women, because you don't venture and look and vent properly, you're not going to find it. You're not going to attract that. So if you have these issues about this, but then it seems to me something sick about you. Just like if I said I have issue with the sisters, I have to really reflect, say, what is about me that I'm doing or I've not attract that woman, because it's out there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm willing to do the hunting. If I've been in hunt, I will do the hunting to find it. But I know a good portion of our sisters won't do the same thing. And I'm not saying they should, but to sit there and complain about it, and then also you explore your options, just like the other like my good friend from the Mary Brown and his co-hosts, right? They live in a particular state, right? And they have not left their state most of their lives. They probably did, but not probably to another state or maybe another state, probably one or two states. But they have not left the environment that is, and they still deal with the dudes that they circle around and said the men they deal with is narcissists. They're this, they're that. They just want sex and all stuff. And I'm thinking, say, and I did a stream on this, Osisa King, on, if your issues is dealing with a man and you don't want to compete, you better off giving the time and energy to a so-called lame or a so-called non-select dude to look as a man, give him the time of day. And so dealing with the dudes that are what you quote unquote you like or makes your coochie wet. Not saying the dude has to be ugly, but if he's not really a target of other stuff, then you might as well deal with it. You can work with it, because that means he's not a dude that's not getting much. So that means he is somewhat in control. I said somewhat, not always in control. So if he's not getting much coochie, then obviously he's being productive, you know?
Yeah.
Because the minute a man is able to, let's have sex with any woman he wants, or he's able to get what he wants from any woman, either woman that gives it to him willingly, or he has to do a little magic to get in their pants, then that's more competition on you because now you have to fight just to hold on to that dude. And most sisters don't want to compete for the man they want. On the average, when I use the word compete, it's like a virus to our sisters. What's that? Because they feel they're just a woman, they're black, and they got a vagina. That's enough. No, you gotta do something more. You gotta put in some more just to get what you want. If it was that simple, then you would not be complaining on social media, YouTube, or anywhere I see you making your complaints about the men of this community.
Yeah. When quite a few of my girlfriends have friends that most of my friends are all mothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But most of my friends have friends that are in 30s, 40s, and they don't have children, right?
Yeah.
And we get together, and we vibe and we have our girl talk and really go there. And whenever my retort to any woman that says like, "Oh, these men ain't shit," I'll be like, "None of these men shit." It says none of them. Like, my man ain't shit. The last one I had ain't shit. We didn't break up because he wasn't shit. We broke up because we, weren't progressive together. And I don't do stagnancy, but I don't stay stagnant with anybody. But it wasn't because he wasn't shit. Like, none of them are any good. Where do you go? Where do you meet me in that? And they'll tell you, "Oh, I go to the bar, I go to the club, I go to the this, I was at the picnic, I was at the community days, okay, sis, guess what? Most cities, you can take about $10 to $15 and go online and fill out for the most basic sponsorship for the museum. They'll send you 3 or 4 invitations to the museum nights where they have, private showings or private parties or whatever. But get the least amount one, right? And then go buy your ass a pencil skirt and go to the museum. It's going to be a wonderful brother up in there somewhere. Somewhere. Maybe you'll meet him going in. Maybe he ain't going to the party. But get out of your surroundings talking about those all men ain't shit when you only know 50 damn men in the neighborhood and only talk to 3 of them.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough to have traveled a lot.
Yeah.
I've met black men in Europe. I've met black men in Taipei. I've met black men in Amsterdam. I've met black men all around this country. Met black men in Germany.
Wow.
None of them was I interested in, or maybe they were interested in me sexually, but they were just encounters, like, just stopped and talked and had real good conversation with brothers. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that. If I wasn't in a relationship at those times, I certainly would have at least dated them to get to know them. I don't believe that there's a shortage of good men. I think that that's a concept of belief that black women have taken on because in our economic areas, our depressed economic areas, it's hard to be the best that you can be. I'm not gonna say it's hard because that should be motivation to be the best you can be. But
you have no choice. You have no choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's a mental block to being the best you can be. So if you're in those areas, well, I don't live in the hood. Yeah, okay. I hear the so-called educated sisters complaining about the educated brothers. I hear, I hear the educated brothers complaining about the educated sisters. I hear it everywhere. But I say economically depressed because they steady complaining, saying that they're not at the level of white people and not getting what they got, and so they're not at the top of their game or whatever, right? So if you in that environment, you're going to find mates that lack less than what you think because you're comparing them to a whole different other set. And some women, I'm not comparing them to anybody. I just want them to be decent. I want them to keep their dick in their pants, and I want them to treat me right and stop trying to da-da-da-da. Well, you're going to have to look hard, and you're going to have to make that known before you lay down. And we don't have the good conversations before we lay down. We don't. And that's why I advocate for Black women to have certain conversations with their children about how to enter into relationships. And the first conversation got to be about, it has to be one of self-interest, and that has to be about your health. But women think that, a lot of women think that deep and pervasive questioning is, so where you work? How long you been working at? How much you make? Like, girl, you know, that's a couple days down the line. The first thing you want to know is he healthy? Is his mind stable?
Yeah, that should be the number one thing. Is his mind stable? You know what I'm saying? How do you do you have values as a man? You know what I'm saying? Besides purpose.
We rarely stand them up like the job do. If you find 52 cents on the side of the cash register, what would you do? You know, we rarely ask the pertinent questions, and then we complain about what we get. Well, you lucky you didn't get your damn throat slashed because you didn't know what you was getting. You just jumped into it. We get on the phone, and before we know it, we sending pictures and receiving pictures and stuff, and don't know nothing. I know a sister that sent some pictures and didn't know the dude's last name.
Wow.
Yeah, she didn't even know his last. She knew his street name. Yeah, you know. And then I'm sure at some point she's gonna say these no good niggas. I'm sure if he put the pictures out there, he's gonna be a no good brother. And not no brother. But you know, we gotta think first. We show people that's not worthy of our extended compassion. We show them extended compassion, and then people that, you know, we should be more empathetic to, we don't have anything for. So first thing is self-observation. We need to really focus more on ourselves than we focusing on everybody else. We so quick to want to be in the midst, the energy of of calling out racism, right? That's some relief from the oppression of racism, calling it out. That's some freedom right there, right? Instead of just truly wanting or truly working on being free. We're not a monolithic people. You're never going to get all Black people together. When you say, oh, forget them, we just have our own little tribe over here. That's the best you can do, is have your tribe over there, because you're not going to get all Black people to do shit anyway. You're not going to get all white people to do nothing. You're not going to get all Asian people to do anything unless you use a totalitarian dictatorship to do it.
Like in China.
Right. So until we get that, all Black people aren't doing the same thing anyway. All Black people are not going to think the same way. The best you can do is get your tribe and impress other Black people to motivate them and inspire them.
That's how it goes. It's like, it's cause everybody's
for YouTube and to hear all my people on YouTube, even the people I don't agree with. I'm thankful because, look, I've seen people that I totally don't agree with, but I also see them expressing themselves without being violent. I see them using their money to further their passions, right? That's inspiring to other people. So even though I don't agree with what you're saying, I agree with your inspiration. And I'm for my people rising up regardless to whether or not I agree with every little thing or not. Some things, look, do over there. Please don't do it over here. Please don't do it over here, or it's going to be an issue. Do it over there. But I can respect you doing it over there.
Over there.
Just,
over there.
Yeah, over there. Just don't do it over here. I don't know. I love my people. I love my people. I love when my people come up with plans for Black people. I love when my people sit around and daydream, but I don't like when my people don't value themselves enough to say, wait a minute. The foundation of who I am and what I'm trying to build is what's behind my door. It's my home. I have a pride or an embarrassment associated with what my children do. And so I'm going to make sure it's more about pride than it is embarrassment. We let our children go out and, not let them, but they do, go out and rob people. We train them in many ways to go out and rob people, to be terrorists. in the fucking community, and they can come home and get on the couch or go in their room and sleep, and we putting mad money on the books, and but
Yeah.
there needs to be a pride in the home and what emanates from out of that home. And until we get that, you're gonna have conversations about black women dating white men and black men dating white women and black men and black women here fighting all the damn time.
Yeah.
You're gonna have that until, and I think I often think what could motivate black women, because I'm at a loss for what could motivate black men to be inspired to be in their home besides their mothers training them that way, their mothers and fathers training them that way.
Yeah.
I think that other black men have to do that work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think other black men have to do that work by taking a real pride in the relationships that they have. Most of the men that I hear talking about how a relationship is supposed to be don't show their relationship.
Yep.
Most of the men that I hear giving out tips and advice don't show them using those tips and advice.
Mm-hmm.
So other brothers ain't trying to hear that shit. You're not gonna corral them and convince them to go home and be with no bunch of children when they know women is giving it up a dime a dozen. Unless it looks purposeful, fruitful. If you can't make it look like that, then ain't nobody trying to hear what you're talking about. And as far as my sisters, only thing I can do is what I do. I talk to my sisters. I tell them about having pride in raising proper children. I tell them, I always tell sisters, find a person that you love in your family who you want to make proud. Your grandmother, your mother, your father. And then you put that into action by making sure that everything that comes from you that enters into that family bloodline is progressive. And harnessing that word. I use that word a lot. Harnessing that word. It's not about overcoming racism and all the words that we put out there instead of that one fuel-filled word. Get up out of the rut. Be progressive. If you keep harnessing the word progressive, it'll feel kind of ridiculous to be complaining about black men ain't shit. You'd be more prone to finding one that is about something and being able to show, look, we about something. I know people want to say, okay, well, let's go create policies first. Policies come out of building homes. White people got so many policies on the book that are for them because, true indeed, white people have been about building a home up for the last at least 100 years.
And they fighting for it.
Houses, they had structure in their damn home.
And they're fighting right now to keep it.
I'm not saying it was stable and it was good. It's a lot of domestic violence, a lot of, bad stuff happening in white homes as well. But they had the structure. And so policy comes up out of structuring at home. So you can go and get 20 people from each state to run, black people from each state to run for Congress, right? That ain't gonna change shit. Because what kind of homes did they come out of? You're gonna litigate for, what's comfortable for you, what you know, what you're gonna advocate for what you know, rather. So if they're not coming from good homes, that's got to be the primary focus. Brothers got to say, hey, dude, what is you doing? Take your ass home. Oh, I ain't going with you on that. You're going to be a lonely old mother sucker because I'm not going with you on that. I'm going home. Hey, don't put your hands on that girl like that. All these women out here, go get you somebody else if you got to do all that, brother. But these men, look, on your typical inner city block, and I'm not separating myself from my people, which I see. I haven't really seen anybody that come with no plans, no talking points, and no opinions, not disassociate themselves from everyday black people. Well, those people over there, those Dusties, them Dusties in your family too. So y'all the Dusties. Everybody the damn Dusties. Even you that think you ain't Dusty, you sitting around complaining about some shit, you Dusty too. Instead of actually achieving something better, because people that got something better don't even stop to talk about the bad shit. So So yeah, until I was gonna say in inner city neighborhoods, and in suburban neighborhoods, and everywhere else, most people know the child molest on the block, the woman beater on the block, the bus down on the block, the negligent mama on the block. Most people know those people. And those people can come right out their door and have conversation and laugh and borrow $5 and a cup of sugar and every damn thing else. No repercussions, nothing. Nothing. But if you value your home, you then start to say to other brothers, hey, yo, you want to borrow my lawnmower? Look at your shit. Hey, yo, y'all be doing all that arguing, brother. You want to go out for a drink sometimes? Maybe you need a little break or something from the house. You don't gotta come to another man. I know men are apprehensive about going to another man about how he run his stuff, right? I can respect that. But you're a man. I'm not gonna say that shit, you're supposed to be the leaders. You're supposed to be thinkers. You're supposed to be more logical than emotional. So then you should be able to formulate some type of recourse to limit what's going on that's non-progressive.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you wouldn't have to be worried about what white women gonna do or would do or should do to black women for messing with their men.
All right.
Which the only thing they gonna do is make they mulatto, mixed race, with interracial children despise your ass just the same way they white son did. And historically, mixed children, mixed descendants have been used against black people.
Yep. I remember Retaliation revealed the information on his own program, and I see through the history books. Even trans women mention it in the book before he transitioned over 29 years ago. This will conclude tonight's stream, and I appreciate you, Osisa King, very first time here on YouTube. And people, listen, it's only just begun. When she has her channel up and running, I will let y'all know. Trust me on this. I'm gonna have her back on another stream. And cause listen, this is a bad lady right here, man. She don't pull no strings. She's not gonna be nice like your typical mother. She's gonna lay out on y'all. She's gonna demand more for not only the brothers, but also to you sisters. You know what I'm saying? No excuse. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make that bloodline be the best they can be in this very chaotic, satanic, sick culture society we in. So I thank you again, Osisa King, and just stay there for a minute. For those that were listening to tonight's show, thank y'all for listening to today's stream. Like always, please comment, subscribe, and like this video. And I will be reading the comment sections like always. If you have any thoughts, opinions to what you heard today, I will be reading that. And also, like this video as well. And that's pretty much it. But until the next time, let the chaos reign.